Let's get it.
Let's get it. I love how that thing starts, boy.
This is Eternal Underground production.
Man.
Reach.
It's your boy Rich.
I know what it is, man.
Y'all know what it is, man.
You're now tuned in to the Hodge Sports Show with a picks on target sharper than Katniss Everdeen with a crossbow. Before you place a bet, better check with Patrick and Sean first. Unless your aim is that, holler your buys. Check the stores right here. Forget the mother stations, we got you covered. Don't waste your time. Ain't no need to straddle the fence. Now you can take a side with competition where you think a gazelle could take a line. If you in opposition, just listen. It will change your mind.
Saturdays from 10 p.m. to 12
This is
p.m.
where you catch him at. And every show a banger like Ray Lewis at the quarterback. I don't conform, you got a topic, or we'll address it. Got it. Don't come on here talking that nonsense and don't know nothing. No hesitation, get put in your place. End the discussion. Ain't no sugarcoating over here, keeping 100. Got a question? We gon' come with the answer like ours. Yeah. If you ain't know then, you know now. Just some time.
Yes.
Sean, repping the city of brotherly love. Philly stand up, Super Bowl 52 champions. Baltimore in the building. Make some noise for us. Got Charm City on his back. Putting on further like Cal Ripken Jr. back with the Orioles. And he's sport rebound and diving skill. This knowledge from his common skill to follow us. Shout out to you. Without you, this ain't possible. You rock with us, we rock with you. I love us, I love you. Much love to the fan page. Just follow the fan page. Just deeper than sports talk. It's something like family. Ever and be more. Let's get you a crab
Let's get that crab cake.
You in Philly. Let's get a cheesecake. Now running sports fanatics that you know online. Tune in every weekend when we going live.
You heard it. Every weekend when we going live.
Tune in every weekend when we going live.
Let it run that back, Taz.
Yeah. I know what time it is.
Tell him, Taz.
Yeah, time it is. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
You're tuned in.
Tuned in.
Reach.
The sports breed passion. Ain't no better place to let it out than right here on HPS, where we never stop.
That's right. We never stop. Ain't no Conagra virus gonna get us. Yeah, buddy. That Conagra. That's how people. That's how I picture like old people standing down south. That Conagra or the old drunk. That Conagra, man. Watch out for that Conagra virus, man. Welcome to the Hodge Sports Show. I am Patrick Hodge, Baltimore, Maryland. He is Sean James Harrison, representing Philly. Listen, we going.
This call is being recorded.
All right, this call is being recorded. We're going strong. We're going to call this the Power Hour. We got a couple good topics for y'all tonight. We got a real abbreviated Sean around the sports world. And I got a question for all y'all out there. I gave it to Sean last night. We're going to get into that question pretty early into the show. If everything goes right,
It could take an hour.
up the whole show. Yeah, it could. Right? If you watch this, yeah, you're gonna see the number flash through on the screen there. So if you're in the live feed on Facebook or any of our channels, check it out. Our call number is 888-531-8305, 50317. Without further ado, I'm turning it over to the main man, Sean. What's happening, baby?
All right, guys. Today in the sports world, it's simple, very simple. Is coronavirus is still happening. Everything is still shut down. We did get a little football action with the free agency getting underway. With that hasn't changed, but at least it's not even really the signings yet. It's just the legal tampering period. We got TB going to TB. That's Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay. Somebody called that last a couple weeks ago. I don't remember who that was, but Cam Newton is claiming that Carolina gave up on him as they officially released him. You had Byron Jones, Cowboys ex-cornerback, going to the Dolphins getting a nice little payday. Darius Slay getting traded from the Detroit Lions to the Philadelphia Eagles. Ex Minnesota Vikings cornerback Xavier Rhodes is now Indianapolis Colts on a 1-year prove it deal. I feel like I'm missing another real big one.
Probably Calais Campbell going to the Ravens.
There you go. Thank you. Calais Campbell is now, like he just said, also a Baltimore Raven. I think that really about does it. Other than every other sports, all the sports right now are trying to figure out a way to salvage their season with all these different ideas, such as the NHL, the NBA, MLB trying to figure out when opening day is even going to be. NFL is the only one that really isn't in jeopardy yet. And they, to be honest, they shouldn't be in jeopardy at all, as we discussed in length a couple of weeks ago. They're the only sport that's probably going to stay completely intact the entire way, The only thing I find weird is that they're not changing anything about their draft yet.
Okay. Yeah. It is kind of funny that you say that. Everybody is scrambling. It seems like, first of all, hold on. Let me go back. Because I gotta give you credit. I was thinking about this earlier, so I gotta give you credit because I was giving you hell 2 weeks ago that there was no way Tom Brady was going to end up in Tampa Bay. I was dead set on that. But I didn't tell you this, but I meant to tell you as the week went on, I kind of had a feeling he was going there because I was listening to, I believe it was the NFL radio, right, on when I was driving. And there was a guy that knew Tom Brady, and he was saying that his son lived in New York. I totally forgot his oldest son lived in New York and that he would not want to be far away from him. Oh, man, he's going to go to Tampa, right, with this new information that came out. So let me give you credit where credit is due. You absolutely stood up here 2 weeks ago and said unequivocally that Tom Brady was going to Tampa. There was no swaying you. You're like, I don't care what you say, Patrick. He's going to Tampa.
Yeah, I mean,
kudos to you. You were.
Thank you.
I
mean, exactly what I said 2 weeks ago. The weapons that he has there are undeniable. You know, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, the young O.J. Howard, and they can draft a running back in the first round to go with them. I think Tampa, unlike you think Tampa isn't going to go anywhere. I know that's how you feel. You think Tampa is still going to be a flat team that flounders.
I do feel that way.
So, but I'm the opposite way. I think Tampa is going to win the division. So,
I see. Oh,
listen,
man. See, he's already. Listen. I'm glad he went there because I want to get this party started. We got 1 hour to get this thing.
Hold on.
I
got one more thing to say. I got one more thing to say. Just to finish off my around the world of sports. The Houston Astros are still cheaters, and now we can start the show.
Yes, and Conagra virus. That's what we're gonna call it on our show. Hello, Mama dear. Conagra, right? Houston, you're still cheaters. HPS never forgets. So Ethan Field, got to give you credit too for posting in the group. Like seems like 2 years ago that the dark horse for Tom Brady was Tampa. So got to give you credit as well. I want to say something to you as well about the free agency. I was kind of shocked that Chris Harris ended up with the Chargers. I thought for sure Chris Harris was coming to the NFC East. I thought for sure he was coming to Philly or he was going to come to Dallas. Come to find out, Dallas was never really even in on it. And then he said it came down to Philly and someone else, but it ended up with the Chargers. I forget who the other team he said won. But anyway, I like what the Chargers did in free agency. I really did.
And the only question mark.
The one move, right? You know, there's always like that one move where everybody's like, "Oh, that dude got overpaid, whatever." I don't think anybody really got grossly overpaid so far in free agency. You know, there's not that one deal where we're like, "Oh, that dude got that." But the one that kind of scratches my head, man, is the one that Colts did. Trading for Buckner from San Francisco.
Okay.
Giving up their first round and then paying that dude all that money. That one to me is kind of like, oof. You know, like it's kind of like how me and you talked about the Darius Slay trade, right? I like the move.
Which I wasn't a fan of.
Right. And I like the move from the Eagles standpoint because you got to respect the hustle, right? They identify the need, they fill the need. But I'm not really a big proponent of giving up draft picks and still paying something, right? You know, you could have had Byron Jones without giving up anything, right? Without giving up anything. You're paying Darius Slay a little bit more on the 3 years than what you would have been paying Byron Jones, and you still give up 2 draft picks. So, and this is kind of where I wanted to go with you on this because, we got a very Georgia-centric, very Tennessee, very Philadelphia-heavy group, right? And it amazes me that a lot of the Philly fans are bias isn't the right word. Tunnel vision may be more correct.
That's the right word.
It's either tunnel vision or their objectivity just goes out the window. It's one thing to root for your team and think your team's the greatest. I got no problem with that. That's how it should be. But when I read how everybody else overpaid, but Philly made the best moves, I just kind of crack up at it because it's the same people saying the same things, right? You know, like, oh, I'm glad we didn't get Byron Jones because he cost too much money for no interception. And listen, I know what Byron Jones can do. I had him for 5 years. It's not that Byron Jones can't intercept the ball. It's the way the defense is played down there. If you look at Dallas over the last 5 years, they don't get turnovers nowhere. Right. So, like, the dude had eight interceptions like his last 2 years of college. So, like, let's just go there, right? Then somebody posted a gift the other day, right? Y'all signed Ronald Darby Coleman for like 1 year for like $1 million or something. And the picture was Byron Jones stats. His kid that posted it was like, "Oh, I love Howie Roseman on these deals." I'm thinking, now, don't have me go to PFF and pull up the grades, right? Everybody knows that Byron Jones was the #1 rated corner on the free agent market. He's considered one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL, right? You can tell me that all the time. Here's the funny thing. For people who don't understand this, if you haven't really watched us for a while, this is the funny dynamic about Sean and I. I root for the Cowboys. He roots for the Eagles. He has a lot of appreciation for some of the players on the Cowboys, and I have a lot of appreciation for the players on the Eagles. So our private conversations, you would think that we're fans of the opposite. We talk about certain players, right? It's like I know you're a big fan of Byron Jones, and I am too. I'm a big fan of Byron Jones for the flexibility, right? Because Dallas misused in the first couple of years for need. They put him at state, right? There's not a tight end that man can't cover, right? He may not get a lot of interceptions, but every time someone says that, I'm always like, yo, is he giving up touchdowns though? Right?
Is he giving up catches? Is the person he's playing catching the ball? If he's actively shutting down an entire side of the field, I don't understand why you don't want him. I could give a crap if he gets 5 interceptions a year, 20 or none. If he is shutting down an entire side of the field where they are afraid to throw to that side of the field because he is there, why am I complaining? What do I have to complain about? I will pay that man whatever he wants if he can literally shut down an entire side of the field. There's a reason why Darrelle Revis made so much money for so much time. There's a reason why Revis Island was a thing, because he shut down a side of the field for so long. If Byron Jones actively did that for the 3, I think it was 3 years he played corner in Dallas, because his first 2, I believe, he was playing safety. So I don't understand, and you were right when you said that you don't know what it is. If it's tunnel, it's. I think a lot of it is a mix of bias and tunnel vision. Eagles fans have a very hard time showing appreciation to other NFC East teams, to other teams in general, but the NFC East specifically. You know that I don't have that problem.
I totally get that. And I just think it's funny, but I was really, really impressed with I was really impressed with a lot of the moves that I've seen so far in free agency. I kind of like what the Browns are trying to do over there. I think they're going to be a lot stronger once they make this OBJ trade, because that's happening, right? It's just too many people are talking about it. It's out there too much. They're going to move on from him. Why guy in the first place? I have no clue if you're just going to get rid of him. Right? You're still looking for stability. I don't know, man. It's the Browns.
No, I'm not saying from like what sense does it make, like from the Browns. I guess I am from the Browns standpoint, but like at what point does Odell Beckham Jr. do it? He's the problem, right? Like there's no more excuses. There's no more saying how great this guy is. He's the problem. He's a cancer. He doesn't make teams better. He actively makes them worse. He's been in the league for 7 years now. He's made the playoffs one time with the Giants, 11-5, and that was it.
So let me ask you this, right? When are we going to stop?
That was it.
Hold on there, Lou. Hold on, Nate. I see you guys out there. I'm coming to you.
Sorry.
No worries. When are we going to stop putting this guy in the top 5 wide receiver category?
Oh, he's never in my top 5.
I've never had him in the top.
Yeah, he's not in my top 5.
God, everybody always has him like 2 or 3. And I'm like, how first, right? Give me 6 games first.
16.
Right? You know, like our kept put in his group in his own. He posed the question: did the Dallas Cowboys overpay for Amari Cooper? Why or why not? Right? A lot of people are yeah. They overpaid him. Right? I'm thinking this guy is number 2 for the last year and a half with touchdown reception. This dude has a 58% step rate. Right? You know we track that. Right? 58% step rate. It means he's a step beyond his defender on 58% of his deep passes, 20% higher than the league average. Right? All you got to do is just look at quarterback play, how that's elevated since he's been clear. Right? Did he have some moments last year where he was nowhere to be found? Absolutely. Does that detract from the money that he's earned that he should get? No. Because here's the thing. Right, this guy played through 2 injuries the whole year. Everybody's calling that. He played through 2 injuries, man. He played through a foot injury, I think two feet injuries the whole last year. Right, I think the one game he did miss was the Jets game. So it's just kind of comical, like how we look at certain things, right? And then I made that joke, right, about Todd Gurley being a bust. That's not how I felt about Todd Gurley. But someone said it to me, so I just took it and ran with it. And
well, here's my question.
Everybody came back. Yeah.
While we're on this top 5, while you're talking about top 5 lists, give me your top 5 receivers in the NFL right now.
Ooh, right now. Man, who's the best? Right now. See, you know my man, he just wall on me because I was a big AB84 fan, right? That was my dude. I like
he's not in the league. He's not in the league.
Right now, yeah. Not now. Number one receiver.
You don't have to go to me in any order, just top 5.
Well, for me, I got to do it the way I think. Michael Thomas, Hopkins, Julio's got to be up there. Cooper's got to be up there. Mike Evans got to be in there somewhere.
That's 5.
You know, Fitz, man, we can't not talk about Fitz.
Yeah, but you're talking top 5. You're talking top 5 right now, though, not top 5 of all decade.
I mean, I'm sure I'm probably missing somebody too, because I mean, Tyreek Hill's probably got to be up there in that 5, right?
What about Godwin?
No, I mean, I'm giving you like he's got to be up there somewhere too, right?
I'm telling you this. Listen. I'm not trying to hate on Amari at all, but I don't think Cooper is top 5 right now.
Yeah.
Personally,
See,
I'm giving you.
Here's the funny thing. No. I'm just gonna say this to you because we had this conversation at the football season last year. I said he wasn't top 5, and you said he was. What changed your mind? I didn't have him top 5, and you did. And he's like top 5. I'm like, is he? I know he's top 10.
I think he's top 7. I think he's top 7. He would be 6 or 7 for me.
Yeah.
He's right there. Okay. But in all actuality, when I'm thinking about it logically, I'm going. Then I'm going Mike Evans. Then I'll go in Julio.
Okay, I know.
And then I have to number
Julio.
5. I have to give the nod to Chris Godwin
over Cooper.
Oh yes, I got to give it to Godwin over Cooper.
You can't do that.
Why can't I?
That's your list.
Why can't I? It's my list.
I mean, you can't.
I could put myself up there if I wanted to.
Right.
I'm just saying. I think Tampa Bay has. I think Tampa has 2 top 5 receivers on the team, and I think when time comes to when they have to pay him, they're going to have a very tough decision to make to whether they keep Mike Evans or keep him, because you're not going to be able to pay both of them.
Well, Mike Evans already got paid, right? He's on his deal, right? He's on the second deal.
He's got off his rookie deal. He's on to his second deal. My point is, they're not going to be able to pay both of them at the same time. That's been investing way too much money into one position.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I hear you. That's good stuff. Nate, what's going on, man? Welcome to the Hot Spot Sports Show. Nate probably got himself on
What's up, fellas?
There he is.
How you guys doing?
Doing well, man. How you doing? We can hear you. Can you hear us?
I'm doing good, fellas. I'm doing good.
All right.
I can hear you.
All
Yeah,
right. What's good with you?
I can hear you.
What's good with you, Pip? What's good with you? Okay.
I've been deprived of Formula One.
Oh, you've been deprived of Formula One.
Yo, you don't understand. I need a sound of a hybrid screaming past me at 200 miles per hour. The V8, the rolling thunder. You know what I mean? I had a fight with the Atlanta Motor Speedway over tickets that I purchased for a race that was supposed to happen over 3 weeks ago. And I think they're going to postpone that race until later on in the year. Good. Down here in Georgia, it stays pretty mild till about December. So I think extend that season. I was thinking about purchasing Formula One tickets for here in the United States. I don't even know if they're even going to race this year. They're doing the iRacing. I don't know if you guys have seen it, where they're pretty much doing virtual reality racing, pretty much a modified video game. And they have actual drivers driving these cars, and they have their own league that way. It's not the same. It's like it's like watching football, but you want to watch the NFL. That's pretty much how it feels. You know what I mean? It's a smack in the face.
Or is it like watching the XFL?
Yeah, it's been tough. All the car show events have been canceled. It's not nice. And then sports wise, the way they're handling the Dak, I'm not a big fan of it. I think he should have been signed already, honestly. And I'm not sure if it's totally Gary's fault. And I know that Dak is asking for big money for a shorter period of time because of the rule changes with the CBA. I get that. Even with that being said, I still think that Jerry should have had a contract signed by Dak, at least short term. You know what I mean? And then go back to the negotiating table, for the following year, instead of franchising him like that. I didn't agree with that move. I thought it was a big slap in the face. I think he did earn enough respect from, especially with last year. It wasn't his fault. That was definitely a Jason Garrett thing that was going on with that team. I wanted to play for Jason, plain and simple. And it was very evident if you watch those games there. So yeah, it's been tough. However, if you're trying to get yourself a brand new car, man, this is the time to do it. They are giving these things away.
No, it's funny. I said the same thing the other day. I was like, hey man, if we're trying to buy a brand new car or buy a house, now's the time, right?
In the market, this is the time to do it. You will walk out. You can walk in there with like nothing and literally walk out with a brand new car. That's serious. So
Wow.
because the virus has an effect on everything in all industries, one way or another. So I mean, unless you're in the city of New York, you pretty much have a good shot of being able to go in there and get out there with a really, really good deal on a new car. It's just that simple. Gas prices as cheap as possible. How that incorporate with sports means that if you're trying to make travel plans for future games, if they should open up any of these leagues, you should be able to get there fairly cheap. If you plan on flying. So yeah, whole lot on my mind when it comes to that, guys. But
I hear you, man.
I think that
it's a lot to
I think that the NFL. I don't know if the NFL is really going to be affected as much as everybody is, because their preseason training starts a little bit later on. I know they got some of the mini camps that are supposed to happen. I think they might get canceled. I'm not sure, but I think the NFL will actually be okay.
I heard something about the college football that might try to move their season up a bit and shorten it, because they think by the time the fall comes around, we might get a resurge of this cockeyed virus.
Whose man is this? What's up, Lou? Happy birthday, buddy.
I ran
birthday, Lou.
I ran on ESPN.
You read You what'd you read on EN there, Lou?
No joke. No joke.
What'd you read? I'm sorry.
It came on
Repeat
the
that.
site this afternoon, actually this evening.
What'd you read? Say that again
They're
for
going
us.
to try to.
All right. I'll say it again.
Thank you.
That according to an article that I read just a few hours ago, that college football is considering moving their season up and playing from July to December, just in case that we get a second wave of coronavirus in the fall. They want to get over with.
How would that help?
Hmm.
How would that doesn't make sense? I'm just saying, like, talking out loud here. If you move it up to July and you're expecting a resurgence in the fall and you want to play through December, what sense does it make to move it up if you're going to play through the middle of the corona? If they expect a resurgence of it, it doesn't make any sense. That doesn't logically make any sense. Maybe I'm crazy, but
Was there a main talking point or a main reason in the article you read, Lou, that it's giving them the feeling that's what they want to do?
Well, just like what I said, because by the time the fall comes around, they said it could be a second wave of corona. So they want to get the season over with before it does start up again.
So when will they do the national championship in November?
They won't have national championship. They won't have a postseason. Period.
They're just going to play games just to play a game.
Conference, because just conference games only, and then forget the postseason. Which I think is a stupid idea, because then what are you playing for?
So these kids that are seniors and juniors going into the NFL need to have film so they can get drafted.
No.
There's plenty of reasons why they have to still play. I mean, there's guys that finally start playing well their junior or senior year, and they get drafted because of how they played their junior or senior year. So it's very important for these college athletes that are in their junior or senior year of college to play their last year, just so they can actually have film to show to players show to potential NFL teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I mean, you're gonna play just conference games but not have a postseason. Like I said, then what's the point of playing?
I just said
I
that.
think-
Maybe the posting is more for the fans, if anything. But
you
you always have those big games during the regular season. So
I am not
Conference
sold. I'm not sold on anything collegiate taking place anytime soon.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask the same question. I'm going to try to bounce off what I just said, though. What do you do for the college? What do you do for the college players right now?
I can see it working down here because it's a huge following down here, obviously, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and the weather in the southern states more than anything else versus the northern states. 10 schools may be affected more by it if there is a resurgence versus the southern states. But
yeah, I mean,
right now we're in like 86 degrees, man.
Yeah, I mean that's one way to look at it. I mean, if that's true, right? Like if the virus can't survive in the warm weather or whatever. But the one thing that we know about the NCAA, right, besides them being the most crooked organization we have, is that everybody has to make money in the NCAA. But there's no way they're going to allow one or two power conferences to get all the glory and not the other ones. That will never happen, right? We know that. And to go back to what Sean asked, what happens to these players? What happens to all these seniors, right? Some of them haven't been granted an extra year of eligibility. I gotta believe at some point that's what they're going to do, Sean. I believe they're just going to make them all fifth year, right? And a lot, if they want to return and play, or maybe they can go into the transfer portal and be able to play right away. Here's the thing about the NCAA: they were the last ones to make the decision to not do anything, right? All the other major sports and everything came out and said we're suspending, and they took forever, and then they didn't even postpone. They just canceled. Yeah, they just canceled. Right, as soon as the NBA came out and postponed, that was when the NCAA should have came out and postponed. Right, I think a postponement was in order, not a cancellation. Or as soon as you started sending students home, then you should have canceled or postponed these tournaments right away for the NCAA. So they just really have no governing body, right? They just have like no one person in charge.
Oh yeah.
I know we'll hear from Mark Emmert like on that stuff, but
I was trying to figure they won't make it up because I was reading an article that college sports, only pro sports, go by the academic year, and by the time it was probably all finished with this thing, all the students have gone home and the academic year was over. So now I get the point why the college basketball season, postseason won't take place, which I still think is a shame, but I get the point.
Well, but then if you look, you got to be careful because the academic year starts 2 different times in college, right? Because the academic year could start in the summer,
Right.
or it could start in the fall or the winter. So that's left up to interpretation too. Now for your college athletes, some of them would be reporting to school now, right? You know, or like in May or May, June, as soon as they graduate to get ready for the upcoming season, right? That's why like spring football and all that would be getting ready to happen, right? So can't really say that it goes off that. I mean, you know what I mean? But I'll say this to you though, and I think I said this when we came out, when we asked this question before. If you're paying attention, if you're looking at all the major sports, I'm telling you, baseball is going to be the one that's going to come back first. And
I would agree.
Think so too.
And the only reason why I say that,
When we don't know, but
and the only reason why I say that because if you're looking at everything that's being said, like they just voted on their new bargaining right. So Sean, imagine this, right? And Kevin Dixon's on the line, so this he can take this question if he wants to or not. Sean, if you're the LA Dodgers, you just traded for Mookie Betts. If there's no season, Mookie Betts becomes a free agent next year because of the new agreement they agreed to. So players are getting service time for this year, whether there's one game or no games played. Could you imagine? Can you imagine that? Right? And then you're not even getting a chance to show this guy what LA is about. You know, talk to him, woo him. He could just be traded and not play one game. You didn't give up your assets, but you didn't give up a lot anyway, in my opinion. Right? We can talk about that till the cows come home. But you just may lose this guy, right? You know what I mean? Like he's not the only player. There's someone else there's another high profile player that got traded, and if he doesn't suit, you know, if this can what?
I love it.
Right?
I
So
think
the MLB, so the MLB is talking about coming back and getting their season started in June. Now, the reason why I'm saying the MLB might be the first major sports to come back and play is they're actually going to play with no fans. The players have come out and said we will play. They shouldn't do it. It's 2 different things, but they should if they're going to.
Well, they don't.
Players
really
have said
baseball doesn't have much fans anyway, so they're not missing much.
Well, yeah, we'll play in empty stadiums and we'll play at neutral sites, right? So you saw the thing about how New York Yankees home games could be moved down to Tampa Bay Stadium or Marlins Stadium, right? So Seattle, when they started the season, they already weren't going to play in Seattle, right? They were going to play in Arizona or something like that. So, you know, there's just a lot of unknown about this Niagara virus, right? I'm going to keep saying it.
how many games do you think they'll play?
The MLB still wants to get 162 in. I think the MLB will not get 162 in. I think this is a great time to really reevaluate that and chop that down, maybe by 30. You know, maybe make it 132, something like that. But what I'm not a fan of is the expanding playoffs and things like that. But you know, it all depends on how long it takes to get back. Because now I'm gonna flip this to the NHL. In the NHL, their star players, they want to come back and they want to start with the postseason play. They want to have a big tournament where pretty much everybody gets in, and just make it all playoffs.
Yeah.
Or look at well, now from the NHL's perspective, you got to look at it like this, and it kind of makes sense the way that they're explaining it. Or take a forecast look to see who would get in, because they feel that that's the way that's going to bring the excitement back. Because you can't, and you said this, Sean, right away. What's the ice conditions going to be like? Even though it's indoors, what's the ice going to be like in the summer months?
Miserable,
right?
Man.
Even though it's played in there and things like that. So that's that, right? So it's kind of comical, but Kevin Dixon, welcome to the show, man.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Man?
What's up, Kev?
Hold on, before you say anything, Kevin.
I'm staying indoors.
Hold on, before you say anything, Lou, we're gonna say this one more time to you because I don't think you heard us the first time, and you're just being rude. but Sean and I wished you a happy belated birthday.
Oh, well, thank you.
There it is. We both, you didn't say nothing, and I'm sitting there, I'm feeling some type of way about it. I'm like, hold up. You know, we didn't took time out to wish this man happy birthday, and he ain't saying nothing, Sean. I couldn't let it go, man.
That was funny.
You're welcome. All right, Kev, go ahead, man. Sorry to interrupt you there, but we had to clear that up.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
So how's everybody doing?
Man, we doing, brother. We doing.
FYI, this Memorial Day, you guys will just be grilling out. There will be no races at all. Memorial Day.
He's still in race with. He still has race withdrawal. You'll be all right, Big Nate. Don't come back. Don't make it up. So, Kev, what's on your mind, man?
IndyCar is going to put Indy 500 till August. They did confirm that. That's going to be a race in August.
Tell you what.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a road trip. Let's take a road trip out to Indianapolis and catch it.
No idea.
Let's take a road trip out in the Miata. We'll get the Mazda or the Kia, right? The Corey Cagle always says. Well, you come up, get me, get Sean, then we head out to Indianapolis and we catch the 500.
Be so out of his way, coming up to get us.
You know what?
Going
I
over.
have to do that.
Be so out of his going up and over. That's so stupid to do. You go all the way up the East Coast to go all the way across the country. Like that, what sense does that make? You make a giant ass L instead of a diagonal right to Indianapolis. I'm so confused.
If anybody out there watching, listen to us, has a pop-up camper we can borrow, message me. We in.
All right, hold on.
Hold on.
We're still waiting for Kev to tell us what he wants to talk about. So, Kev, the floor is yours. What do you want to talk about, man?
Yo, I just want Nate to get all this out of his system right now. So I know Nate's really depressed right now. Pocket's a little light from that money that he used, that he didn't get a chance to go down to the pit row or anything. I just want him to get it all out of his system right now so we can move on.
He's not moving on, man. Racing is a long season, and you know it's bad when he even talks about NASCAR because he's not even a NASCAR fan. So when he brings up NASCAR in the same breath as F1, you know he's feeling it. He's feeling it. He just wants his left turns. That's all. He just wants his left turns.
I would take that now. I would literally go to a short track of NASCAR and literally watch them do over 700 laps on a half-mile track for no reason. I would sit there and watch that. Just, like a crackhead feeding for that one hit. It could be stepped on 400 times and it'll do for now. You know what I mean? But that's how I'm feeling about it. It hurts my feelings, guys. There are all these brand new cars that are out that no one can drive on the track because of Corona. It's horrible. There's literally 7 new exotic cars out right now for bargain prices. And you're like, wait, when I say bargain, I mean, I can't afford it.
Yo, Nate,
Nate, for the average, you know what I mean?
Nate, did you get a new job or something? You started a job as a car salesman. This is the 4th time, and you've only been on the line for 25 minutes. This is the 4th time you try to sell us some cars and also go out and buy a new car. You got a new job as a used car salesman or something? Listen, I ain't trying to buy no Kia, all right? That's all I know. I heard Kia mentioned once. I ain't trying to buy no Kia. I don't know what kind of race you're going to give me right now, but I don't want them.
$49 over here. $1.49 for gas. Really? $1.49?
We're still 225 up here. I'm still 225.
Man, you still 225.
Okay, so now we got all the
other side of Philly. Like, what you expect?
Yeah.
So now the commissioner said they're going to go along. They're going to go ahead and have the NFL draft. GMs are complaining about it. So let's think about this for real. If you never get a chance to talk to the guy, even speak to the guy, but over the telephone, And character issues is an issue that they deal with every day in the NFL. How do if you're a GM and this happens, you go to a draft and your draft is shitty at most. Just think about this. I'm just trying to figure out how the commissioners is basically tell them we're doing a draft, suck it up regardless of whatever the case may be. We're gonna have the draft anyway. Is that the shield talking, or is that money talking? Because I'm confused here. Because if I'm a GM and you're telling me I gotta have a draft and I can't talk to nobody, but over the telephone or through via Skype or anything like that, and I look at film, I'm not happy with this draft.
I gotta ask you
Why?
Oh, hold on. I got this stuff. Let me help.
Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
So I got a question for you, and I'm being serious. Like, and we live. Last time I checked, it is year 2020. Me and Patrick are doing a live show that is broadcasting on Facebook. He is in, I almost said Carlisle, Pennsylvania. He is in Baltimore, Maryland. I am in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are 3 hours apart from each other, doing a live show right now. I can tell you every facial expression Patrick Hodge is making right now, as he can tell you every facial expression I am making right now. Plus, can hear him crystal clear, and he can hear me crystal clear. What do you need to actually sit down in a room face to face with? And now, also, one more thing. I'm using a crappy ass laptop, so I can still hear and see him and I see everything that he's saying. So, why do you need to sit down with somebody face to face to see the things that I can see right now? If Patrick has a scowl on his face, I can see it. If he rolls his eyes, I can see it. His eyes were just closed for 10 seconds there. I saw it. See, I can see everything that he's got. I can ask him any question and read his facial expression, read his body language, because he can't leave the screen. So why do we need to sit down face to face with these draft picks to get these questions answered and figure out what exactly we need to be? Honestly, being face to face with somebody in these meetings, you do interviews for jobs now on via Skype and all this other stuff. So what's the difference for an interview for a job and an interview for an NFL job? It's the same thing, is it not? So please tell me this. Please tell me. I'm going to revert the question back to you. What needs to be different?
It's completely different because it's completely because there's a feel to a human being in another room with another human being. You can talk to somebody over Skype or whatever the case may be, but if you're about to draft a guy in the first round or maybe the second round, whatever round it is, that this guy's supposed to be able to make your team better. I have to be able to. I want to be able to touch him and talk to him in a way that I feel comfortable with him, because now what's going to happen is now all the agents going to train their guy to make facial expressions or anything. It's going to be a true interview for real. But even though if they blink or if they wipe their brows or whatever the case may be, that may be a sign of maybe they don't understand what they're saying to them, or better yet, you draw up a play or anything like that. And say, okay, so I need you to walk me through this play, okay, or something of that nature. So I think sometimes you need to have that one-on-one connection with that player. I'm not saying all of them. I'm just saying some of them. There are guys that's going to get drafted. They're going to get drafted because they got an opportunity to do it this way. But if they were face to face with some GMs, they'd be like, nah, this guy, I don't have a good. And there's GMs that probably don't make it because of reasons like that.
But why can't the agent? What's different with the agent training the guy for an interview, that face to face versus an interview face to face over Skype or something like that? You can't change somebody's facial expressions when they ask you a question. You can't change somebody's body language when you get asked a question. All that kind of stuff isn't going to change. None of that's going to change when you're talking to somebody face to face in any kind of setting, unless you put them in a very uncomfortable setting where.
I disagree with you. I totally disagree with you on that. I totally disagree.
All right.
I totally disagree.
So let me,
because it's still that human factor. It's still that human factor that's involved in that interview. It's still that human factor of the interview. Over face to face on a computer is completely different. Because how many times? Let me ask you a question. I bet you there's people that do interviews over the internet, they put a t-shirt and tie on. If the person is doing an interview say, I need you to stand up, they got on pajama pants. Now, if they were in a real interview, would they have a pajama pants? No, they having a whole suit and tie.
Okay.
So now to me, I gotta deal with your integrity because you didn't do what I asked you to do. So that's the integrity issue I have right there.
All right.
Not saying that's the reason why you might not get the job. I'm just saying that's to me. That's why I think you need to have that face to face. Some of them can probably do it. Some of them probably can't. I'm not, and I'm being young, as I'm saying for players. But at the same token, though, these players are trying to get in the NFL. They're trying to make money to take care of their family for the rest of their life if they possibly can. And to leave it up to something like that, I think that's wrong.
Okay.
I know they can't get them all together in one room, but I think they need to figure out something. They need to figure out something better because to me, it's about the shield and it's not about the player. Let me put it like it's about the wealth and not about the health.
All right. So I'll disagree with you pretty much on all points you just made there. And I'll counter everything you said and then I'll bring it back to you. First of all, these teams have already had the opportunity to interview these players. They had the scouting combine. They had personal workouts. These conversations could have already taken place. Every year, teams draft players that they don't meet with. The only thing that's being affected this year are the local pro days, right?
Yep.
When you can have the draft visits. The only thing that's being impacted. You can still reach out and have an interview. And it's like you say, right? If you know that you're going for the interview and this is the job that you're going to do, these teams have better equipment, better resources to conduct these interviews to where everything can be seen. You can still do a whiteboard presentation. Oh, we're using Uber Conference. You can do that on the conference line that we're doing right now. So, but the main point that I have to you is twofold, and I'll read them for you. These conversations have already taken place. These interviews have already taken place, and if they haven't, then that's on the team or ex-player. But every year you go through these drafts. Teams are drafting players they haven't interviewed or met with. So what's the big deal about it now? Why are GMs complaining about it? Nothing in the process has changed except for the fact that you're not having those pre-draft visits. That's the only thing that's different, right? And players don't get to walk up on the stage and get the photo op in the first round with the commission. Other than that, nothing has changed. So why are you taking the stance of the GM outside of logistics? Give me something else because what you're saying.
Okay, so let's go back to this. Let's go back to this about the combine. You only select so many players to go to the combine, so everybody's not at the combine.
Correct.
So there may be players that you wanted the combine not there.
Right.
So now you have to readjust what you got to do. Like for example,
pause that.
He said there were about 30.
But pause that thought right there, right? So the combine is just one instance. What about the Senior Bowl? A lot of the players that don't get invited to the combine are at the Senior Bowl. What about there?
Okay, so you got seniors at the Senior Bowl, but then what about the guys that what about the juniors or the sophomores that come out that did their 2 years, 2.5 years, or 3 years and went out? They don't go to the Senior Bowl. They don't get to go to the combine. But like I was saying before.
Okay. So wait, hold on. We're going to hold on, Kev. Hold on. We're going to take it point by point because if you're underclassmen, if you're coming out, you have a separate draft. You have a supplemental draft. Go ahead to your next point.
Okay, you have a supplemental draft. But what I'm still saying though is that okay, at the combines, you got so many guys that can go. No matter if they're rich, if they're a junior or a senior or sophomore, if they did 3 years, and they're gone, they're invited. So everybody's not invited to the combine. Okay, so you said you have your supplemental draft. Okay, that's guys that didn't get drafted, so that's after the fact. But what about the guys that are at the HBCUs? They didn't get selected to go to the combine, that was getting ready to have their own combine. They didn't have it because of the coronavirus. Now those guys don't get the opportunity to play. So you don't get. I mean, they'll get an opportunity to shine. So the GMs can't really go after them because they don't know what they have in them. Because they don't have. I mean, they have film on almost everybody you can think of. You know what I'm saying? But is it broken down to that point? I mean, you got guys in HBCUs that want to go to the pros. All right, so they're supposed to have their own combine, but that never happened. Now, me as a GM and this guy's on my board, I'm like, I really don't have anything. I really don't have anything I don't have enough evidence here to say that we should pick the guy in the fifth round.
No,
or we should pick the guy in the fourth round. Or somebody comes to me and say, "Yo,
that's
this guy for
that's
me."
hogwash.
Or
That's there's no way that should be. If you're looking at a player that's coming from a smaller school, whether it's HBCU, whether it's Division II, whether it's Division III, you're making an effort to go interview that guy beforehand because you already know they're not getting invited to a Senior Bowl. They're not getting invited to the combine. So you're going to go work them out personally. It's just like Tua. Tua went somewhere, interviewed, and worked out. Right? You're starting to see all these stories and all these interviews that leak for players that have went to these teams. And so no, if you haven't interviewed or met with a player up until this point, that falls on you, the team. That doesn't fall on the player. The player may suffer from that, but that doesn't have anything to do with the commissioner. That's all about the team. You had all year. You had all year. You're scouting these people. If your scouting department is doing their job, if they're looking for those diamonds in the rough, they're personally going to these HBCU campuses and scouting these players. They're interviewing these players. They're interviewing their high school coaches. They're doing their due diligence. I'm not going to put this on the Conagra virus, Sean, to say that this is different. Again, the only thing that's really being effective is these pre-draft visits. I have no issue with the draft going on the schedule because the work was already done.
Yeah.
I mean, what could you possibly do differently now? And you can still travel. If you want to, you can still travel.
How much talent outside the first and second round do you actually interview? So how many players that you're going to draft outside the first and second round are you actually interviewing? You're relying a lot on
Look at the Seattle Seahawks. Look at the Seattle Seahawks and look where their draft picks came from. Most of them was like third to fifth round draft picks when they had a good defense. Okay, so it's not like them guys are on the board. It may have been a situation where he might be the best athlete available. That may not be the person they want. That may not be the person they really want.
Those guys are on the board. You don't just have a draft board for the first round, Kevin. Come on now, you know that. Come on now.
I'm not. No, what I'm saying is that you do have a draft board, but there's players on the draft board that there may be players that another team wants. They're not on your draft board. And they're like, well, we want this guy, that guy, or whatever the case may be. So if only thing I'm saying is this right here. I just think that they should push the draft back a little bit, just push it back a little bit further, in my opinion. Because if I'm a GM and this is my job and I screw this up, and I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna say, well, I'm blaming on the coronavirus. They're gonna look at him like, no, it's not. We're not gonna do that. You should have did your job. And I understand all of that. But now, only thing I'm saying is that we're gonna see how good the GMs are now if they don't get a chance to do it the way they want to do it. But that was my whole point. That's the whole point I was trying to make.
Yeah, but
that never got a chance.
No. I think we were getting that. So let me ask you this then. So for the players that got drafted last year that didn't work out, what's the excuse for the GM?
They could have got hurt.
No, I mean, Player X got drafted. He didn't pan out. So what's the excuse for the GM for last year's draft pick or the year before that? Or the year before that? Every year someone gets drafted that doesn't work out. So like this COVID-19 is not really impacting the ability for that scouting team to do their job, right? So like you had a reference to the Seattle Seahawks. They drafted a lot of players in the latter round. Do you think that they just put those players on the board from the month before the draft? I mean, because to the way you explain your position and the example you gave, that's what leads me to believe you're thinking that Seattle just all of a sudden in March went to go see a player and then put them on their board for the April draft.
No, what I was saying though was they said that they're the team that they built their team around when they won Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of third, fifth round draft picks.
Right.
I'm not saying they're first round, second round. They had some first, second rounders in there, but they was basically built on third and fifth round draft picks.
I understand that, but what I'm asking you is, how did they build that though? Where did they get them from though, Kevin? It's not like they just added them to their board in April.
If those dudes on the board, but if those dudes on the board and they're still there, then that's great.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm asking you though. Like you just, I'm specifically asking you that question. So let me be clear in my ask. Do you think that Seattle just put those guys on the board the day of the draft? That's my specific question. To you. Exactly. They were scouting them. They were scouting them.
But wait a minute, Patrick. Wait a minute.
I'm waiting.
They might not have put them on the board that day. They might have been on the board for a while. But they had an opportunity to put them on the board. Where now they haven't had the opportunity from the time all this things come up, from the time all this started to right now. That's what I'm saying. There's been a lapse of time where they didn't even know what they were going to do. The only thing they knew was we're going to have a draft, but they didn't know when the draft was.
No, I'm not buying that.
I think they're upset about they came back and said the draft is going to be the day that the draft is going to be, because now the GM's got to put it down. GM's got to go out there and put it all together. Not like it's not already together, but they got to put it. They got to fine tune it now, and I think that's why they was asking for more time. But again, my whole point was we're going to see how good the GMs are now, because they can't do what they've been doing before.
Okay, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree there, because I don't see how a GM's job is impacted by this at all. I think that the heavy lifting should have been done. And just like somebody in the Facebook group says to you, that's what game tape is for. Guys have also been uploaded individual workouts. Who does impact most of all is the small college guys who were slated to participate in pro days on major campuses. And that's true. The guys that might not have had a chance to showcase their talents, that didn't get invited to the combine, it's impacting them. But again, they can still work out and upload it, and it still be. Most of the work is done off game tape anyway and off previous interviews. So, I don't think it's that big of an impact. I don't think it really, because if you push the draft back, how far are you pushing the draft back, and what are you able to accomplish by pushing the draft back that you couldn't accomplish now, right? Like, so, you know what I mean? Like, just pushing it back it's still now, because now the restrictions are greater than what they were a couple weeks ago. So I don't, if you push the draft back, you're impacted more by pushing it back. And I think that's where the commissioners, like, as the longer this goes on, the more restrictions each state starts to impose. So what are you really doing there? I don't know. It's a great topic. It's something that we definitely can continue to discuss throughout all of our platforms. And so I appreciate you bringing that. With that, man, we about to be out of here, Sean. Our hour is about up, bro. Yeah, man. Kevin, Neater, Lou, thank you all for calling in. Make sure that you all tune in to these guys' respective shows. Monday night. I don't know if Nate's doing the show without racing. Lou, what night's your show?
Saturday night, 5 to 7 p.m.
Saturday night, 5 to 7.
I
Kevin.
feel the pain.
Kevin is Mondays at 7 to 9, I believe, on his. Nate, you still doing the show? You on hiatus?
I'm doing on Tuesday night. I do Tuesday night at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Boom, 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 boom.
Sean, any final thoughts before we
Stay safe, everybody. All right. Just remember this. Don't be that a-hole that needs to go out and needs to be about. Don't be getting other people sick. The more that you stay inside, the quicker this all be over, and the quicker we'll all get sports back, and the quicker I'll stop having like I watched the 2013 NBA Finals earlier today. I'm not mad. It was a good series, but like I want to see the 2020 NBA Finals. You feel me? Stay inside.
Hey, bad news, but the show's over. Hope you enjoyed it. We can For all day long, shout out to Serena Williams. Ain't another place to hold it down like the way that we hold it down. Won't hesitate to bet my last song that you ain't know it then, bet you know it now. Pat and Sean with the dynamic duo, one of the best show around. Reverse 360 windmill. Vince Carter when we put it down. You're now rocking with the major leagues. Show be hitting like Mike Trout. These other guys try and ride the wave, but not the day they get wiped out. Cause we on a whole nother level than them. They follow the trends, we the one that set them. Later smack them like Stone Cold, and that's the bottom line until we stunning something. These lame stations ain't saying
I like that line right
they just
there.
talk to hear their voices. Place to come vibe out the high spot sports show, keep that heat coming like Palomalo in the backfield. Relax, chill, everything covered. When we move, full head of steam, please off the track when the train coming.
Yeah.
Want to thank y'all for tuning in.
That's
A
Madison's
good
line right
time,
there.
what it's all about. Hope to catch y'all here next week. Same time, we'll be zoning out, and we ain't the call. The opinionated, bring it on. Just make sure that you're ill prepared and come hard and not at all. Rebel warfare, talking sports here. Ding ding, let's go.
Ding,
And
ding.
unless you stay in stats, you ain't saying that. Keep calm and carry on. 24 in that jersey. Feeling something like Kobe with a few seconds on that game clock. Down two, but who worry? Throwing L's to the competition. It makes me sick to see us winning. Black Mamba mentality. See it better than me and go get it. Get it.
Go get it.
You already know how we do, man.
How we do it,
Hey,
Taz?
yo, Sean, what up?
What up,
Hey, yo, Pat, what up?
Taz?
Want to thank y'all for tuning in, man.
Oh, thank you for tuning in with us,
High
Taz.
Spot Sports Show, baby.
Yes, sir. Run it back. That's right. I can ad lib with this cat all night.
Yeah, man.
There you go. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks
All right.
everybody for tuning in with us. As you cooped up, we appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. As Sean said earlier, everybody stay safe. Do your part to keep your families safe and keep yourself safe. We should be back next Saturday night, 9 to 10. Peace out, Sean.
See you guys.
All right. We gone.